Not quite straight enough, dear. Talking about the camera. Right. Q and A. I'm going off the
Sit.
He hates it, he knows he's being filmed. Going off the YouTube Creator app. Show all. Sort by most recent, but that's not fair for the people who got in first. We'll go from the bottom to the top. And then there's a couple from Patreon, and then there's a couple from elsewhere. We'll get into. The first one was more of a statement. They got right in, so I'm going to read it out. I'm going to read it in the most appropriate sounding voice as well. I'm Pete, and this is Tree, by the way, doing the Q&A. So first comment, I was like, check my phone. What questions have come in? Yeah, something interesting, I hope, for the first one. First cab off the rank. You seem both pretty youngish. Good. That was the first question, so that was by Kalakari Bus. And then Killer Deegan, who I talk to fairly often, said 31 and 30. He's an expert, he knows more than I do sometimes. Response, so young and even looking a little bit younger. That's awesome. So yeah, first question, more of a statement, but no worries at all.
I guess we are youngish.
Yeah. Good. Good. Alright, so of course it went straight to the gutter. If she had to castrate Pete, which knife would you use? So it's a question for you. I've bought some demonstrative tools around. You wouldn't really want to take a few goes with this thing, given that it's now fairly dull. It's a funny question, isn't it? What would you'd just use them?
Probably just stick with the Kaiser, because then I won't cut my finger when I close it like I did with that other one.
The Kaiser, yeah, she cut her finger on the Spyderco Police 4 because it's got that snap. On the Police 4 it goes like, she got it on the snap back.
I did.
She didn't understand how the knife worked. Right. And then Lisa suggested probably the little Nalaka. Remember the little Nalaka, that little fine little, because remember I used it to...
You don't have that anymore.
Nah, I sold that. Because the steel rolled when I used it. But I was honest in my listing. But yeah, remember when I used it on your foot, was it?
Yeah.
I used it to shave the callus off of something, because you had a splinter, remember?
Was it my finger?
Yeah, it was something callousy. So it could have been your fingers.
Honestly,
Love them callousy fingers.
I don't remember.
Yeah, anyway, I used that for some sort of procedure, so I guess you could upgrade it for that. Question at wife. How is it like living together with someone YouTube famous? It's from German Survivalist.
Wouldn't know. He's still very down to earth, you know?
I've never been recognised anywhere, so I guess that's when you're actually famous. Alright. Again, back to the gutter. We only had a brief foray there. Do you wish his penis was bigger, Killer Deegan?
Is it because you said in the question video about your penis?
I think that probably did push it all into the front of people's minds.
I'm not going to answer that, sorry, Killer Deegan.
Could have just said no, but instead she takes like
I choose not
half a
to
minute.
go into the gutter.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a first. Have you ever been tempted to dress Basil up as Fat Cat from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
Don't know.
That's niche. I'm not sure
I don't
the
know the
reference.
reference.
I do remember Chip and Dale, but I can't remember Fat Cat. I'll flash it up on the screen right now. I'm sure I'll be able to find the picture.
He's about to knock over the
Oh,
tripod.
Basil is rolling into the camera. If there's a...
Take a picture with your phone.
Yeah, I'll just shoot this. Oh, and this will be so high tech. I'll be able to like... Yeah, I'll have picture in picture. Look at this fucking idiot. He's like right in the tripod. Oh man, what a tard. Hey Basil. Basil. Oh, you can hear me, but he's too fat to do a single sit-up to look up at me. So yeah. Jesus. Alright. Back to the questions. Alright. Are you being held against your will? Blink once for yes and twice for no.
Did it twice.
Twice. Good. It's hard to see on the viewfinder. New England Patriots or Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. But seriously, can I go tramping in Australia, or is that strictly a New Zealand thing? I promise my question is legit. Must be a question for me. I'm going to have to check what tramping is. Tramping. I hope it's as fun as it sounds. Everyone needs that year where they're just an absolute whore, don't they? No, it's definitely outdoors related. Tramping in New Zealand is backpacking, rambling, hill walking, or bushwalking. Is a popular activity in New Zealand. Oh, you can definitely do it in Australia. That's what I hope to be doing more of this year. Absolutely, you can tramp in Australia. I guess it's just going minimalist instead of making your way as a man amongst the people. More power to you, sir. You're definitely able to do that here. Who's the chef of the house? We all know that I like to cut the cheese with the knives. From Dante. Ada's trying to get inside as well. She wants to be on the camera. I can't see her there.
Is it? Anyway, we both kind of cook. I don't like cooking.
Neither of us do really. I just put Basil on again because he's, just doing some more shit. Yeah, no, neither of us are particularly fond of cooking. Like, neither of us really love it, so we kind of just do whoever can be bothered that night and just make it work. Most of the stuff's like those things you buy that are like 2/3 of the way done. It doesn't seem to be affecting us too adversely. Not having like... The thing is, when you cook with ingredients, you end up with a fridge full of shit that you use like one of. You know, buy a bunch of this and then use a sprig of it. You can't just go to the shop and buy sprigs, you know? So, yeah, we're just not super fond of that.
Just would rather do anything else. If I was rich, I would have a chef.
Yeah. Same. Right. Tree, was Pete into knives when you first met? Or was I this into knives when I first met? How did you find about my hobby and did it ever weird you out? Sincerely, a knife guy who was slightly insecure about his hobby.
No, Pete was not into knives when we met because we met in high school. You were a bit of a gamer back then.
I was a gamer.
You see if you can put one of the pictures up of like just how cool you used to look.
Yeah, I'll be able to find one. I'll pull one from my old MySpace. That'll be good.
How did I... Well, it was a bit of a slow progression into knives, I think.
Well...
Because you had... When we had our like property, then you started needing axes, so then you bought an axe and you were like, well, buy a nice axe because we're going to need the good quality, you know, buy once, cry once. I've
always espoused that mantra.
And then it was, I need a multi-tool on me all the time because you're doing stuff.
Because that's true. That's how the world works.
And then I don't really remember how it sort of...
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little bit, when I first saw you like cutting rope a few times up, I was a little bit like, really? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But then it turns out it's a thing and people like it, so...
So I'm helping.
Yeah.
She knows I like helping. It was pretty much just went from the gradual segue from axes and actually being practical with things to then just being a...
But then we moved out of our the house where those things are practical.
That's right. So now I don't need an axe.
We're just enthusiasts now.
Yeah, I've always had an enthusiast mindset about anything I've been interested in. It was games for a while, and probably since about 2010 it was knives, I'd say. What's it like to be married to the peak of masculinity? Also, do you consider yourselves lucky that Pete asked me to come out of the kitchen? So the peak of masculinity. Do you know what it's like to be married to the pinnacle of masculinity?
Well, if you are the pinnacle of masculinity, it's awesome. Yeah. I don't think I'd like to be married to the real pinnacle of masculinity. Toxic
masculinity can ruin most things.
It ruins every party, every time.
Does. Yep.
That's why you can't have nice things.
Sometimes it is, yeah. Just have to be getting their dicks out with everything. Okay. Greetings from Austin, Texas. When I saw your names together, I thought, Pete Tree, that's a type of tree, right? But it's just a type of dish. What? My question, are you all related? He's just playing with that one. Because we're not. It's 5 a.m. here. I'll try and think of a good one. He's working through his question process while he's writing. I'll try and think of a good one. Can you help me get a work visa? No, here we go. When are you doing the Mr. and Mrs. Dickhead Survival Camp Out? Keep up the good work. All that sort of good stuff. Yeah, I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers. I'm trying to squeeze in one before that one. But then, we'll do it sometime early this year, I hope.
Yay.
She doesn't hope. Favourite watches? Well, we can both answer this one, can't we? You go first.
Yeah, I like my Apple Watch.
She does the Apple Watch thing.
I don't have it on.
No, you don't. So she's not doing it very well, but she has an Apple Watch. I like my Victorinox. We're not watch people. Actually, you have more watches than me. You've got 2, I've got the 1. I always just like one that's normal, that doesn't do anything fancy or confuse me. and it just tells the time and doesn't tell me all different types of time. So that's my favourite type of watch. Have you ever seen a black widow in Australia, in your house or around? Yeah, you know the black widow spiders? I'm not sure how many you get of them in South Australia. I'm going to just check the...
Do you know, I don't even remember the last time we had a dangerous spider in the house.
No, we've had some redbacks outside, but at Loveday there was wolf spiders everywhere, but even they weren't...
They don't really hurt you though.
Loveday was where we used to live, on the block, but they don't really hurt you.
Remember once we had one redback in the toy room?
Yeah,
after a storm.
We had a scorpion in the toy room once.
Yeah.
Our son picked it up and it bit him on the hand. He was just like, ah. But yeah, no, I don't really see, I haven't seen...
What is a black widow?
They look a bit like redbacks, to be honest. But I don't know black widows, and so I obviously don't come across too many of them. There we go. Alright. Pete, as a newly married man, I'm asking for advice. How did you first ask your wife if you could drop $200 to $300 on an expensive knife? You just wait for her to drop $200 to $300 on an expensive something else, and then you just kind of can, I guess. But it was very gradual, really. It's a slow descent into madness, and it's usually you dropping it off the steam of a sale you've just made. That's the best way to kind of do it. So, yeah, you're buying a $300 knife, but still a $150 knife to get there. That's the way to start. And then, you've just got, when you get big, if you get an influx of cash from something, I've got an interesting arrangement where I pay heaps more tax during the year because the government still thinks I'm paying off my university. And then when it's tax time, it works out I paid all this money for no reason, they give it all back to me in a lump sum. So we have a little nice time every July-ish, get a few nice things for ourselves. And it's funny, like with the knife stuff, you really can make the money just kind of keep cycling through. You probably lose like 15% every shake, but yeah, it keeps it going. So that's the best way to, as long as she sees you suffering a bit for it, I'm sure you'll be fine. Can we meet your dogs? Yeah, sure, I'll take the camera out and we'll go and meet them after I've done this. I have to remember to do that. I'll write that down. So,
it's a shame that awesome pen that
the Pilot G2 ink is great, but except for writing on skin. Okay. Meeting the dogs. This is Cedric. He's sitting in his pool. He thinks it's got water in it, but it doesn't. This is his bed for most of the time. Sometimes when he's been a good boy, we even fill it up for him. Hey Cedric. Hello. Who's your good boy? And because she hears that Cedric is getting praise, here comes Mrs. Ada. Ada doggo. Does the husky stretch. Loves it. Runs around. It's always just messy out here because they just fucking drag shit around. A bit of paper falls on the ground, they just chew it up. They're idiots, but we love them. Question to wife. Now that Pete is a YouTube celebrity, would you support Pete going on the show I Am a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? That's the first question.
I don't even know that show.
It's not like... It's on right now. It had like Bernard Tomic on it and the tennis player, and he'd throw a tantrum. I think they put you on like whether it's a desert island or anything, but they put you on with a whole bunch of other like Z-lister celebrities that you never know who they are.
Surely that's never a good idea.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure you get a few laughs. But I'd love to go on alone. I'd go on alone, and I'd just bring like heaps of food, and it'd just be super boring because I ration my food out, so I'd probably last as long as anyone else. But I'd ration my food out for a really long time and just sit in one spot. So it'd be terrible TV. It'd just be me like sitting around and just eating like bits of peanut butter. Because that's the best survival food to bring, peanut butter. That's the kind of show I'd go on. And the second part, would you get pleasure from me eating like the gross stuff,
Nah. Sorry, I'm boring.
Oh, that's Bob from Brisbane. Bob from Brisbane. Oh, you've been commenting for ages, old mate. It's good to see you back in the old comments. You know the B that is your name used to be blue and now it's green. So I guess that kind of threw me for a second. Awesome. Where do you see each other 20 years from now? Go on then. Jaden Ingalls.
Probably doing much the same, except we'll be a lot freer because our kids will hopefully be 100% self-sufficient.
Yeah, they'll be like in their early 20s. So
it's in that magic time between, like, they're gone, but they don't have children yet, so you don't need to help them.
And our bodies still work enough to not be like just
so that's
about
actually
to die.
Going to be a really good time.
Yeah. It will be what? In 20 years' time, we'll be 50.
We'll be 50.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've got 50-year-old viewers, and I'm sure life's alright, isn't it? So, I'm not dreading that too much. I wouldn't want to be like 80 or anything, but
We'd be 50.
It's too abstract. So, yeah, but then what if someone asks you that question when we're 50 and we'll be like, man, in 20 years' time, we'll be 70?
No, yeah, because you'll just be like, no, I'm going to be super active and I'm going to do, you know, yoga every day and I'm going to semi-retire from work and, you know, you always just keep busy, don't you? But, yeah, that should be kind of a golden time.
Yeah, it should be.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's the benefit of having your children young.
Yeah, have children young. It's good advice for all you people who are watching this and you're like 30 already and you're like, fuck, I'm not even young anymore. Kids, I don't even know anyone.
It's not helpful advice.
What do you do with all the cut bits of rope? Is it just repurposed as my bedding? I've tried a few different projects with the rope. I think it's going to end up... my idea is if it burns well, which I haven't even tested yet, I could send it out to all my patrons, my Patreon patrons, as little fire tinder things. But then who actually uses the fire tinder? I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean, I'd sell it back to the sisal factory and maybe we can spin it into some more rope, who knows. We'll just give it back to them. Huge bin full of it at the moment, my outdoor steel bin. What do you hate most about my knife hobby and addiction?
Easy. Can you guess?
Well, because it's funny, it's not going to be the money or the expense.
No, definitely.
You know what it is? It's going to be me.
How about? No, not that.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I was going to say because I've always got hairless arms, from doing it. So
it's this during dinner when you've got friends over.
Yeah. And they're like, your husband does that for bursts of time, does he? That's great. Wow.
It's the clicking of the knife that does it for me.
That's fair. It's a bit like how if ladies have long fingernails.
I even bought a fidget cube for Pete.
Yeah, but this is the ultimate fidget cube because it's cool as well.
Super cool.
Flips so well. But yeah. I was going to say it would be like me not having any arm hair and just having patches.
Don't get me wrong, every now and again I get a little prickle and it's like...
patches of arm hair. I thought there must be runner up there.
That's definitely number one. Sorry, love.
No, that's fine. I could be worse. I could be drinking and beating you. So
this is true.
Yeah, you gotta
swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, exactly. Got to look on the bright side. If that's the worst thing I do to you all year, then. Yeah. All right. If you were stuck on a deserted island and can only have 3 music albums to listen to, what would they be? Oh. Well, I'll do mine first so you can think of yours.
I reckon I know mine.
Oh, you know yours? We'll tell yours while I think of mine.
Mine's Melodrama by Lord.
That's a good album.
The Vampire Weekend, the latest one.
Vampires in the City.
That one. And Arcade Fire Neighborhood.
We are hipsters.
Sorry.
No, I see mine would be Future Islands singles. It would be... You know what? Straight to the Apple Music, because you can't even remember what I've been listening to. Straight to I'd probably have a Mars Volta album and a Block Party album.
You ruined 2 of our albums.
Yeah. So I like the Future Islands. I like a lot of music. I even like Lord and stuff. But yeah, I like the Mars Volta just for something nice and complex. And then Block Party I do enjoy as well. I like the Arcade Fire. I like Mastodon. They're good. But yeah, those are my 3. Good question. Everyone always likes talking about their own music, but not listening to what anyone else is saying about their music. It's the funniest thing. It's like everyone just wants to talk about it, but no one wants to listen.
At our wedding, our DJ, every time, because we had a specific list of don't play these songs.
Yeah, like all the shit wedding songs.
Please play these songs. And every time he put on a song that we'd requested, he disclaimed it before.
He's like, oh, I didn't choose this one.
Don't blame me for this one. This was the choice of the bride and groom.
Yeah, because it wasn't like we were listening.
People liked our music.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were listening to the sounds of someone shitting or something. It was listening to just sort of
Flaming Lips.
Yeah, alternative dancey music. But he was like, oh, seeing as this isn't ABBA, don't blame me for this. And we're like, fuck ABBA.
We had ABBA too.
Yeah. Hey Pete, what do you think of the socio-political issues revolving around one self-proclaimed arsehole, Nick Shabazz? Oh, poor old Nick. Nick's a friend of mine. We actually talk in real life. I know, right? No, I think
What issues are there?
Well, I wasn't aware there was issues.
Is it
Social.
it
Must be.
It's a sarcastic question.
Socio-political issues. So, I wasn't certain he was running for office of any kind. Oh, the battery's going out. We're going to have to switch this over to my phone, I think. Dear, that battery just drains. Anyway.
I'm using it all day.
Yeah, I guess. Right. So yes, I'm not aware of those issues, but if they are important, then please let me know more in the comments. Alright, any chance of me coming to Blade Show 1 to 3 in Atlanta? People want to meet me. I don't know. I would be worried that I would run into people that don't want to meet me. Like, I don't know, who have I made fun of? Like, I probably made a bit of fun of Ernest Emerson, and I just get fly kicked instantly to the face by Ernest Emerson with those, no doubt, glorious calves. The steel wheel booth might be a bit awkward until we figure out what's going on with that knife. I sent that off today. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I can't see myself coming to America just to see a Blade show. It'd have to be an all-encompassing trip and maybe tack it on at the back. But I would like to. What do I think about the steel M390? Do you think it's terrible heat treat? This is referring to that knife I was cutting with today. That yesterday. That I was like, this should be lasting longer. Damn it. I honestly don't know. I don't think it's malicious. I always try not to think that it's malicious. I always try and think it's a fuck up. I really wanted to make my surest that it wasn't a fuck up on my behalf, and I'm pretty sure it's not, because I took a fair bit of steel off, and it still wasn't cutting very well. Because they say you can burn steel sometimes when they grind it to put the edge on, because they just put the edges on with big belts at factories. So yeah, I just hope it's all good. I hope when they test it, they're like, oh yeah, this one's a bit soft, and sorry about that. That's the ideal. Or they test and be like, no, that guy's just a retard. This is just fine, see? I don't know.
Did they ask you to send it?
Yes, I sent it back today. Yeah. So, who knows? But yeah, I gave it my best, and as you see, I did nothing for it that I don't do for any of the other knives. Actually, I did a bit more, so I think there's definitely an issue there of some sort, but I don't think they're scamming. I don't think they're quartermaster, for example. I don't think that there's any of that sort of stuff going on, so... Alright, what folding knife would we choose for the apocalypse, and what fixed blade?
I love apocalypse planning.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Would I bring the Chinese instructions with the human penis circumference survival card? That was an in-joke from my survival kits video that you probably haven't watched.
No, I did watch it.
Oh yeah. Which would you choose, dear?
I would just follow any advice you gave. I don't know.
Well, for the apocalypse, my fixed blade, I reckon you'd do alright with this Tarava Yakari Puko. It's pretty stout, not too bad. I reckon the steel you could probably reshape on a bit of rock. I love my Greystone custom knife. That's my favourite fixed blade. It's so nice.
It's amazing.
And folding knife. Oh, I don't know. Probably my American Lawman, I guess. This one here. Pretty durable little knife. Can't see that going too far wrong. Why not? Right. Pete, if you're suddenly granted the ability to communicate telepathically with all species of insects by a deranged wizard and found it intensely pleasurable, but then the wizard said he would revoke your new power unless you agreed to only handle knives with 7 CR, 13 MOV blade steel or inferior, what do you reckon you'd do? Well, how intensely pleasurable are you thinking, knife techs? Because, I mean, if the rest of my hobby becomes miserable because of it, I don't know, are we talking about, like, literally, like, euphoric levels for the whole time while I'm communicating with the insect? You know what, it'd have to be pretty damn pleasurable for it to, yeah. Would AIDS, and then secondly, a follow-on question, and he did note that he didn't check the previous list, so he's hoping that they're not repeats of other questions. A follow-on question, which I don't think has been asked, would I eat a teaspoon of wolf feces for a Sebenza Large 21 in Singo? That's like a really expensive knife. You know what? Yeah, I would. Fuck it. It's like, it's a teaspoon. You'd be right. Like, you really would be. And it's, yeah, I'm probably that kid that would eat the worm for 20 bucks and sell.
Hepatitis for a knife.
Would you get hepatitis from eating wolf shit?
Don't know.
Yeah. Depends on if the wolf had eaten anyone with hepatitis, I guess. But you know what?
Let's get vaccinated first.
Yeah, and get all my shots and fuck it, yeah. Straight down the hatch. I wouldn't inject it into my arm or anything, but our digestive systems are pretty robust. Worst case scenario, I get diarrhea for a day, but then have a really
Probably
expensive
worst
night.
case scenarios, you end up with like 1 million parasites.
Or or becoming a wolf.
You're a wolf, man.
Which is also
You're
highly...
gonna be like Teen Wolf.
Highly probable, yeah. No, good question though, I think. When's the next Dickhead Survival? I'm trying. Oh, Barry Cole's asked one. Barry's lovely, he always comments on my videos. Pete, as a young man, because he always comments really nice things, as a young man that continues to show exceptional integrity, will you consider entering a life of politics where you could successfully move mountains and lead by example? He's a fan, gives his well wishes and whatnot. Autopilot is a risk when you are happy, isn't it, Barry? But politics is a bit... I question the ability to enter politics and stay true to oneself. I think you can be just as successful affecting change by keeping within your own system rather than entering the larger one. Some people are born politicians, probably not me, despite how good this answer is being. I'm doing really well, aren't I? But I think I would find that having to compromise on too many things would be stifling. Which country would I move to if we decided to leave Australia?
Canada.
Yeah, Canada. I reckon that's from Rodrigo Teresa. I think he is Canadian. Yes, he is. Yeah, it would be, because it's not too dissimilar. Everyone
Still have the
speaks
Queen?
oh yes, still have
I
the
like
Queen.
the Queen.
She likes, you wouldn't, we don't love the Queen, but it's interesting.
She's...
Similar systems of government and law. We'd hate to have to start paying for healthcare because we're all scabs in Australia. We love our free healthcare. We just get right in there and take it. But yeah, Canada is for realistically, or New Zealand. New Zealand's nice too.
I wouldn't want to work in New Zealand.
The accent in New Zealand. When you're Australian, it's funny. It's like you really notice the New Zealand accent. They say like the words just a bit too funny. It's like being in Bizarro land. I love living in New Zealand, but the accent would cheer me up.
Lots of earthquakes.
Yeah. I love my channel. My EDC is the Para 2. What are yours? Well, my EDC today is the Spidey Chef because the steel wheel knife has gone back. Spidey Chef is what I default to now. Lovely little knife. What's your EDC? Pair of glasses and a stripy dress.
A wallet, a phone.
Yeah.
AirPods.
Some keys, some AirPods. She's got those little headphones that talk to your phone. You can tap, and when you take them out, it stops playing a thing. It's amazing. Would you carry a cold steel frenzy in my butt if I couldn't fit it in my pocket? Or opt for a different knife? Well, a frenzy lacks the flared base there, Vinny. It's quite a long, it'd just go missing, go wandering, I reckon. But I guess it's a long, slim knife, so it wouldn't be as challenging as, say, ooh. You know what? I think it was me and Nick joked once as if I was ever to leave YouTube, and leave with to everyone, I'd do a video about which knives would be the best butt plugs. Because you look at all the handles, you're like, and you just lose all your subs straight away, and everyone would be like, I'm outraged and intrigued. Maybe, probably just I'm outraged. Yes. Alright, sorry, the camera went flat on us. Oh, let's get Mr. Basil up here. So we're talking about what's good about Australia and what we like about it, if we like living in Australia, all that sort of thing. We love living here with our son. Yeah, Australia's lovely. It's got good things. It's a fairly prosperous country. And yeah, I think I was going to say, imagine getting your shit hand getting dealt in, getting born in I don't want to single out a shitty country. Or a country, not a shitty country, but
somewhere in turmoil, like Syria.
Yeah, or in Burma. Fuck that. Those poor fucking people, those Rohingyas or whatever, they're put in mass graves and shit. You're born and you're just hey, you were born here in the wrong place and time, fuck you, and you just get killed. So, I mean, everywhere's better than most places, really, isn't it? But yeah, everywhere's better than most places. That's a series of words that means nothing. But, anywhere's better than those places, I think I was trying to say. But, even comparing ourselves to the other, would you get away? Even comparing ourselves to the other places that are sort of similar to Australia, I think we're somewhere near the top.
We're in the middle, I think.
In the middle? Yeah, I'd say we're near the top.
I think there's lots of places who do.
You can always tell, and as horrible as this is, you go to a nice country by how many homeless people are around, sitting in the streets. We don't have that many here. And I know it sounds, we don't have any homeless people, we just put them in cupboards. But it's not like that at all. It seems like we have less of it because I think times are still a bit better for us. Whereas I know you go to Europe and stuff, you've got lots of homeless people, and it's kind of just endemic of the general state of a place, I think. I might be wrong, but that's kind of how I feel. Do you have anything else to add on this? this note? Go on.
Oh, I can't remember the full actual question. Was it just about
any
reason not to have
No. Do you like living in Australia and why? That was pretty.
Give it about 8 out of 10. I think we do a lot of things semi-good.
Yeah, we do it kind of half-ass
So-
everything a bit.
And I think it's partly to do with how the government works, where you have one party come in and make these awesome plans, and then before it gets finished, the next one will come, and then they just water down whatever thing.
Everything's short-sighted. Things can only...
Like,
Ideas only last as long as the person who made it's in the office.
and then nobody seems to care, and in fact all it is, well, this person spent this much money.
Yeah, like a good example I think we're both thinking of is our internet. The previous government planned to spend a whole lot on some really, really good internets for us, like fibre to the house, and then the next government comes in and they're just like, nah, fuck that, fibre to the node, which is where it goes to like a box near your house, and so then this old crusty cable. So basically we traded in a lot of our internet speed just for our party to get a bit more in the surplus. We've got lots of funny issues that the media makes us feel are important, like how much in surplus your country is. I don't think anyone has no one all realised that all money is just fake anyway. It's just a big fake figure. But no, it's like, we have to get back into surplus.
Like, we've got good public health, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we don't get dental.
Yeah, we're struggling with that at the minute. You're going to have to get half her teeth out, you know. It's
Half my teeth. It's
you
just wisdoms, guys.
She's only got 4 teeth, so you got to get half of them out. It's
But
got
yeah,
to get the front ones out so she can play the clarinet a bit better. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good.
No. Right. Do you limit my knife hobby spending?
No.
And do I, if she does, do I actually stick to the limit? I mean, we both have the same bank account, so when the money in it's getting low, you're like, I'm not going to buy a knife.
We both spend money. So like this morning I went out for breakfast and I spent $35 having breakfast with my friends.
So because I've got no real life friends, I don't get hung up on those sorts of things.
It just depends on what I used to have purple hair and I used to spend $200 every 3 months having my hair re-purple.
The purple hair was nice.
It was pretty cool.
All the waifus. Weebos, whatever.
What's that?
Where you fetishize Japan a little bit, you know? It's all like, purple hairs. Anyway. I do have friends.
He does have friends, but
at least
you've got friends, but I don't think boys go out for breakfast, lunch like girls do anyway.
Because we've got more important things to be doing with our money.
Like buying knives.
Men are from Mars. Men are from Omicron Persei 7. Women are from Omicron Persei 9. Futurama joke. Yes, millennials, man. Everything's a reference. Right. It's really too late to be telling everyone that your name's Pete. So he's saying everyone's, because it's
everyone
true.
Thinks you're Cedric.
Yeah, everyone's thought. Because still people say, "Hey, Cedric," because the channel's first word in that. It is. I don't know what I'm going to do when Cedric and Ada die, which is probably not too far away, really, just to take things down a notch.
Did you hear that, dogs?
Yeah, you've next. No, because Cedric's ancient now. He's like 11. He'll be 12 this year. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do because every time I look at the channel, I'll be like. So. Yeah, I should just say, like, my name is Pete Outdoors. And everyone like, hey, what's your... No, just the first word. Stop looking at it. Yeah. That's, you're probably right, though. So that was from fapping to Queelag. Good username. Right. We've got some choices here from Mopar Hemi. Roomba with knives or Cedric with guns. Which one would you both rather be killed by? Doing the Roomba with little knives would just be death by Achilles tendon severing, like, which would be horrible. So Cedric with a gun, like running. Imagine Cedric running into the house with a gun in his mouth.
He's like dumb.
He just keeps turning around and pointing the barrel at you, like
And he'd just be like this at you.
Yeah.
Like he does.
Yeah, he just and he just want to walk between your legs. He's one of those dogs who just wants to walk just through, like figure eights through around your legs. Probably Cedric. Whose farts are worse, Ada's or mine? Ada's not a smelly dog like in that sense, but my farts can be fairly intense, so it would have to be mine. Choose my humiliation, driving a multipler or open carry a Calsa for 1 month. I don't know what a multipler or a Calsa is. Luckily, technology. Multipler? Oh, yeah.
It's a car.
Yeah, it's the car with like the Oh, it looks like a face, but it looks like a face. It's got like little tiny
you drove
baby
around
eyes.
in that yellow car.
Yeah,
for
I used to drive a yellow Ford car. You know the Ford car. I'll put them side by side, and I'll try and even find a yellow car, and I'll let you guys decide which is worse. And a Calsa. What's a Calsa? Must be a giant knife. Calsa knife. Oh, the Jot Sing Calsa by Spyderco. Yeah, that is a hideous Spyderco. Look at it. It's got like a big. It's just so big.
Is it big?
Every dimension is
I don't
big.
like its eye.
Yeah, it's creepy eyes.
It's like looking at you.
Yeah, that was terrible. And the last one, threesome with Ada, Basil, or Cedric. Sorry, it's the internet.
That's gross.
It may be the internet, but
We all have standards.
yeah, even the internet's got standards. It may be the internet, but it's not the dark web, friend. Crikey. Come here, Basil. He's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Well, what do you and your wife do for a living, and do you love your jobs? Well, I love my job, but I don't really tell anyone what my job is because some psycho, some crazy person, not you, Stassi, you're delightful, but the internet, it's specific. The minute I said what it was, someone would be able to find me, and I'd be able to, like, I don't know, just call where I work and be like, hey, Peter. So, but, you know, and it's true. It's Stassi, I know you, man, so I would probably just tell you in an Instagram chat. Some people do know, like, if you're a person who I've actually told what I do, hit like. It's a cheap way to get likes. I'll get at least 4 likes from that. But yeah, some people know, but it's just I would never broadcast it because, and I'm not making it sound like I'm a secret agent, but I'm not.
It's not.
It's just my work they've got an odd relationship with the social media, and I think they would hate this. So. What's my favourite grind for a fixed blade folder? That's a question for me, but did you have an opinion on that as well? For a fixed blade and a folder. You know what? I am partial to the good old full flat on both. Full flat grind, my dear, is from when it goes to from the spine to the edge without stopping for any shoulders
like
or yeah. No. Just
you know, like when it has like a line. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah. So like, what's a no?
There's one that's like a triangle.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if you're not using the correct terminology.
That's
so
what I mean.
I'll explain
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see how, so this one's got a stop there and then it goes down.
Yeah, like a triangle.
Yeah, this is strong. Like this will last longer if you put torsion on the sides of it and stuff. But who needs torsion? You know, life's hard enough without being hard on our knives, isn't that right? All the people who get upset when I abuse knives. But yeah, I think full flat for both. To be frank, this is a full flat on a pocket knife. Love it. No, so it's a good old knife question. We're getting a bit away from the channel. Hey, I like your cut tests a lot. There is a titanium flipper with D2 on GearBest now for $29. Seems too good to be true, but videos of the knife look good. Maybe I can test it. Oh, well that's kind of a suggestion more than a question. But D2 is on a lot of the GearBest knives. It's in that Y-Start knife that I tested. That cut like 40 times and then like didn't really rust as much as D2 should. Yeah, I'm probably not going to wade much into those waters a great deal anymore because it's an ocean. Because it's all just so random. Like you get a knife that's made the same looking knife that's branded by like Boca, by Y-Start, by all the different companies. Yeah, probably not for me. Sorry, man. Do I plan to teach my kids about knives or have I already? I don't like hide it from them. There's always like just a few knives just sitting around the house.
Was that really cute time where Alice was like?
Yeah, my daughter thought she was like battening wood just completely because she's 4 though. She's doing it completely wrong. But you could see the intent, which was kind of cute. If it's either of them, it'll end up probably being the daughter. She's a bit more hands-on, whereas the son's a bit more like intellectual sort of thing. Intellectual sort of thing. Just like his old man. What do you think about that, love? Should probably ask these things.
I don't really care. Like, if that's something they want to get into, I have no opinion.
What age do you think is right to buy a son? Buy my son the first pocket knife.
As soon as they don't, like, cut their finger off the first time
Well,
they
that's what everyone does with every knife when they first get a knife.
Then at least 12. Because
12?
then
Yeah.
when you have to take them to the hospital, they're not, like, flipping
Yeah,
out.
they don't have to put in a notification. That's
You
fair.
don't have to, like, hold them down.
I think I was 10 when I got my first Victorinox, so yeah. And then another great comment. LMAO, you stupid brother, crying face, like laugh crying face. Alright, you stupid brother. Nice. Or you stupid brother. I don't know how do you read that, but he laughed his ass off about it. Do you have a preferred lock? What folding knife would you keep if you could only have one for the rest of my life? I think I answered this recently. Rest of my life, probably the American Lawman because it's durable. My favourite lock is, I really don't care. I like the Axis lock from Benchmade because it usually makes a fun action, but a good frame lock is fine as well. Basil's had some movement. Hey Basil. Looked at me.
With one eye.
With one eye. Oh, this must be one for you as well, love. What's the toughest stainless that still has good edge retention in your opinion? Also, what knives fixed and folding with good steel for people with extra large size hands in my opinion?
Well.
I don't know. Okay, the toughest stainless that still has good edge retention is probably M390. It's got excellent of everything. LMAX, great stuff too. Good hands for people with, good knives for people with big hands. Well, I've got pretty decent, my hands are largish, aren't they? Yeah, pretty large. And you know what, like the Tarava Puko is really comfortable hands with the more bushcraft black. I mean, most fixed blades, folding knives, the simpler the better with larger hands. Steer away from anything that has like finger cutouts or grooves because mine are the same, they don't sit quite right on them. So I'll have like, so say if a knife, which none of mine do really, so that's quite a smooth arc there. But say if a knife has like a finger groove, one finger will sit over like that and its edge just sucks. But I mean, Cold Steel makes you XL folders, but you probably already know about them. The Mannix 2 by Spyderco. It's got a really big, generous forward finger choil. Which kind of, he asked first, he was going to ask me if I was going to show my dick, but then he realised that I purposely said that I wouldn't in that first video, so that's fine. Which countries have I travelled to outside of Australia? I'm not a big traveller. I went travelling when I was a kid with my mum for a bit around Europe. Travel was not for me. It's just really. It stresses me out. It's
We're probably going to go to America years away, but Pete's already dreading that.
Yeah, I've already have some anxiety about that. It's I just struggle with like the having to, because you're not at your home, so you lose your. We have to be on a schedule, and I'm a bit chaotic myself. I struggle with that sort of thing. Who's my favourite child, Cedric or Ada? The two-legged ones don't count. Who do you like more over Cedric and Ada?
Basil.
But out of Cedric and Ada, she's not doggy anymore. We got the dogs a long time ago. I've stayed doggy. She's ambivalent.
Had children, and now the dogs seem like they're a little bit too hard work.
Yeah.
Sorry, unpopular opinion.
I think I love Ada more. We have a thing. We have a bond. Cedric's lovely, but
they're both annoying in their own way.
Yeah.
I don't love Ada anytime there's a storm or fireworks.
Yeah, she gets a bit skitsy.
A bit.
But then she does cute things, like sometimes she just comes and looks at us through the window for like hours because she loves us, and they're good dogs. Good with our kids too. Right. Favourite edge finish, best for overall performance on the Spidey Chef. I just found the 17-degree polished edge was all I'd ever need. For Tree, what Rockwell hardness do you prefer on M390? Just say the first thing that you think the answer to that is.
Knife.
If you're thinking hardness, maybe it's a letter or a number. Nah, she's got no idea.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry for that. That's a purposefully tempestuous question.
I reckon Lisa could answer it.
I don't even know about that. He's thinking of purchasing a Spyderco native or Mannix. Which should I go with? Large hand, bigger jobs, Mannix. Normal size to smaller hand, EDC, the native. Pretty simple. Mannix is a little bit too big to enjoyably carry every day, I think. Do I ever lie to her about the cost of my knives to ensure that I can buy more in the future? Asking for a friend? Sure you are. Yeah, we've covered this already. No, I'm pretty transparent about how much things cost. Really, should we have the same bank? She could just see next time you go into Combank.
My advice is don't lie about it.
Yeah,
then it looks like you're trying to hide something. And
the minute you make something clandestine, that's when it becomes a real issue.
Yeah.
Last question on this. We've done well. If you were to America, I don't know, I haven't America today, but if you were to come to America, I think we're talking, which city would you want to come to? I don't know much about American cities.
I've seen a lot of movies, and so I'd like to go to New York.
I'd go to Atlanta for the Blade show. Nah. Alright, so there was a couple
or
more.
Hawaii, because it looks nice, but then it's probably like very touristy, or I'm sure it's like an unpopular opinion.
Now, is my toe my most attractive feature? I showed them all my manky toe. I showed them that in a video. Oh, a dude today was like, hey, I will send you a new Modus, the steel wheel Modus. And I'm just like, oh, sure, man. Like, and you said it in the comments, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is a real dude, a really nice dude. And he's just like, yeah, I'm curious. I'll send you one. You can test mine too. Like, awesome. And he's emailing, there's a series of emails, and he's just like, but I need you to know you're real Pete, so I need you to send me a picture of your toe with your wedding ring around it. And I was just like,
and not doing it.
No. I was in the car waiting to go in to get the kids from school. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, it'll take me 5 minutes. Kicked off my shoe, wedding ring toe photo. I'll put it up on the screen now.
Don't put it on the screen.
I will. Yep. And as such, identity proof it. And then the next message was like, "No, I'm just kidding, dude. You don't have to." Oh, you've already. That didn't take much convincing at all. So yeah, it was very good. Nope. So you don't mind my freaky toe?
No, it's
now
fine.
Last question, I reckon. This is a good question. So this dude's worked a lot with helicopter pilots. Lots of them Australian. When do I struggle not to call everything and everyone a cunt? Or is it a regional thing? They will say it so casually. It is true.
It is a very casual word.
In Australia, that word means very little anymore.
It does. It's almost a term of endearment.
Yeah, it is. And I know it's like a really severe word in America, but I drop it all the time. Like, the cat will walk in, oh, look at this cunt. Like, what the fuck is this cunt like? And it's just, I think we're one of those kind of countries that when something is shocking, we grab it and we just ride it into the ground and make it less shocking. And I think it's one of our best attributes. Because really, words...
That's what we've got. What have we contributed to the world?
Exactly. I love the Grecian fucking statues, and I love the Italian art and the Renaissance. What did Australians do? Oh, they just make shit.
They desensitise everyone to the word cunt.
Or just to every word. Because really, it's just a word. It's like a word that you make with your mouth. Another human shouldn't have that level of control over you, a fellow human, just by a single... Not even saying it with malice. Like, people... I don't understand. I think this is my Australianism coming out right now. It's like, dude, if someone said a word, why is that making you feel anyway at all? Like, I don't know. I'm very much of the be offended by nothing or be offended by everything. Like, nothing. Either everything is funny or nothing is funny. That's kind of what I think. But yeah, that's a very Australian thing. So good question though. It is very true. I reckon that's all. I reckon we've got through them. We finished the questions. So good job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we did well, I think. If you want any more done, I'll probably do one in a couple more weeks. It takes a bit of time to set aside to do it all. And I get all this shit out and I never use any of it, so I'll probably set one up for about maybe in next month or so. Hey gang, sorry, I missed, there's 2 questions that were just in the list that I went over. They weren't even hidden or anything, so I'll just answer them now. First one was from Blitz... But before, have I ever watched a YouTube review and immediately got online and ordered that knife? If yes, what reviewer and what knife? It's happened to him 3 times. Nick Shabazz, Kaiser T1, Apostle P, Lion Steel Kerr, Frankenbird, Kaiser Sheepdog. It's certainly happened to me. When I was first watching videos, I watched Black Hell Outdoors' video on the Mora Bushcraft Black, and I bought it straight away. I wasn't really into knives at that point, not as much as I was into axes. Immediately went and bought the Bushcraft Black, and it was... still use and still love that knife, absolutely. As for folding knives, I reckon I didn't watch the video and instantly go out, but I had some cash to spare and I asked Nick Shabazz what knife was good, and he was just like, oh, what about the Kaiser T1? And so I just bought it, and it's still here, and it's great. I love it. So that's that question, for sure. This is why I keep doing reviews, because they've worked on me myself. I know that if you are enthusiastic about something enough, and that if it's, if you are well enough versed in why it's a good thing, people will buy it. I've had a lot of people come and say they bought American Lawmans and Gerber Strong Arms particularly, and now Spidey Chefs as well, because I talk them up so much. And I haven't had someone come back and say, hey, I hated that knife you ended up telling me to get. So it seems to be working alright, and I think this is a valid form of criticism, just as valid as like being a film critic or any other sort of critic, I think.
Actually, more valid than a film critic, because that's all taste. At least here we can at least comment on some real realities of things. And Shaked Tolman, she just asked Teresa what hobby that she would rather I had over knife collecting wilderness adventures YouTube videos. She doesn't. She's fine with this. She just wants me to be busy, and I have a very set personality type where if I don't have like a consuming passion, I'm a bit aloof. I get a bit flat, a bit depressed, a bit. I need that. I need not a fair portion, but I need to at least spend a bit of time in my day pursuing something. Because I can't just sit around and watch telly. It's just not compatible with me. So I think she's just happy that I keep myself busy enough, but then keep it contained enough so it doesn't spill into the rest of my life, sort of thing. Cool. So I hope those answer your questions well enough. And thank you all very much for watching and submitting. If I missed some of your questions, I'm sorry. I really did try my best. If I've only partially answered some of them, sorry too. It just does happen. Like you kind of get carried away in the first part of the question, and then you skip over. It's a funny thing. It's a bit harder than it would seem to do. These question and answer things. So there you go. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.